Hello everyone, I'm JP and this is my TV. In this video, we will talk about tips that you need to know about how to study and work from home without getting distracted and accomplishing the most of the things that you need to do. I will also share to you techniques from my experience that will help you become effective learners and workers even if you're not in the campus or at the office. And all of you first-timers here in my channel, I welcome you with a big virtual hug. Thank you for being here, and if you watch till the end, I'll give you a bonus tip and a technique on how to study well. So let's begin with a quick background. In our city, it was March 12, 2020 when school heads were called for an emergency meeting by the local government unit to discuss next day plans of a citywide shutdown due to the coronavirus. We rushed into action, canceling classes for the last 2 weeks of March, also canceling the final examinations and even the physical conduct of the graduation ceremonies. Counting from that date, we are now entering our 7th month since varying degrees of containment were put in place to mitigate the effects of the coronavirus. And like me, we are craving for some sense of normalcy to return. And chief among them is the big question for the conduct of classes. Now remember that until a vaccine becomes available, we have to accept these flexible modes of learning and studying so we avoid large crowds that become potential breeding grounds for COVID-19 to spread. So now let's finally begin with these steps, plus the bonus if you listen till the end of the video. Studying or working from home has its perks. It's a comfortable, low-pressure environment, but it also has a number of difficulties. It's easy to procrastinate, and when you finally start, it's easy to get off track, like going back to bed. At home, these two things, procrastination and distractions, can prevent you from accomplishing these things that you need to get done. Tip number 1, create a schedule and a structure to your day. In my experience, it is important to block off time for these 6 basic things: LSM, EDO, lectures, study, meals, doing exercise, household chores, and even others. Creating a structure or a timetable is useful to get organized, especially when you're trying to achieve multiple goals. Also, it is good to write down your schedule so you can remember it and refer to it often. Tip number 2, use a timer, and we have those on our phones already. Use a timer to keep track of time and make sure you stick to the schedule you created. Using a timer helps you focus on the tasks at hand so you are able to cover all the things that you need to do and committed to working until the timer goes off. Let me share to you a sub-tip that I personally follow. It's called the Pomodoro effect. Pomodoro, the Italian word for tomato, is the shape of the kitchen timer used by the Italian Francesco Cirillo, who invented this popular technique for getting things done. Francesco would do one task for 25 minutes, and once the timer buzzed, he would take a 5-minute break, rinse and repeat. This technique is useful when you want to get into the zone. It's much easier to work for 25 minutes than 1 or 2 hours. The little breaks that you get in between refreshes your brain, and above all else, keeping a timer makes your break time effective and guilt-free because now you finally earned it. Tip number 3, create a dedicated space for studying and working. If possible, choose a space where you can be free from distractions and temptations to do something else. And even if this space be temporary, place some customized objects around the area where you're working or studying. For starters, you need a table, a chair, a place for books, and even a trolley where you can place your modules, pens, and papers. Tip number 4, now that you have a study area, keep it clean and tidy. It's hard to work or study if your place is cluttered, whereas a clean space makes for a calmer environment. Plus, it hardwires your brain that your space is conducive for learning. Tip number 5, if you have a clean and organized space, do the same for your computers. If you are fond of saving all your files, links, and applications in your desktop, so much so that you have a hard time locating them, just stop doing it. it's time to clean your trusted laptop and move the unimportant files to the recycle bin. And of course, you have to empty the recycle bin to keep your computers in good working condition. Those files that you don't want to delete, just quickly transfer them, organize them into main folders and subfolders. Tip number 6, do the same cleanup with your smartphones. I know we are all guilty of downloading apps we barely use. Review your phones and just delete the unnecessary ones. Tip number 7, as most of us are migrating online, be careful of what you post, share, or comment. As with other social media platforms, a simple misunderstanding in writing can quickly escalate. What may have been intended as an ironic comment can be misinterpreted. Additionally, should you really post rants about your personal life online, think twice. Bad news travels faster than good news. Finally, tip number 8, keep socializing safely. Understand that it's normal to feel lonely or anxious at the moment. We all miss the campus or the free coffee at work or socializing in person. These are very real human emotions. Continue to reach out with your classmates or workmates and maintain a sense of community. There are plenty of online systems and apps that can be fun in maintaining social contact. Set up informal discussions in Zoom, Skype, or FaceTime, or even this new app I've downloaded called House Party, which we will discuss on our next video. And finally, because you've listened this far, here's your bonus tip. If you're a student and you want to master a material, teach to learn. Learn fast by teaching it with others. Albert Einstein once said, if you can't explain it simply enough, you haven't understood the material. You can imagine an audience or ask your friends, your family members, so you can throw questions and explain your material. If your imaginary crowd asks a question and you find it difficult to answer, even better, because that will pinpoint areas where you need to study more. Although it seems convenient, studying and working from home can be difficult, but with a little bit of planning, you can be effective. Try some of these tips and let me know through your comments and suggestions what worked for you. I hope you learned something new today. Let's see each other again on the next video. Thank you very much for supporting me. This is JaypeeTV. Let's talk about it.